Yep. Let me share that out. 95% of the time, these dudes don't realize. It's Saturday. Always fun. And then we got to send this over to Blue Skies. Because, you know, Blue Skies need love too. Even though Blue Skies, I'm going to tell you, boy, it be giving me such a headache. I think they have way more protocols than everybody else. Excuse me. Let's get this together before everybody show up in here. Because I was looking forward to something. Now, let me see. This is it right here. You know, summertime is hard. Summertime is hard, pause, for the simple fact everybody's doing things on the summer you're supposed to. We're going to talk about that. Got a lot of Xbox news. You know how dudes are. You know, Xbox is one of the most talked about consoles. Yo, to be third place, you would think that they are first place. And I got news for you. They are first place. I got news for you. Now, hold on. Let me see my chat because I'm not seeing my chat. And that's not cool. All right, let me, They are first. Put that on mute. There we go. Happy Saturday. What's going on? Everybody's pulling up in here. Let's go. Let's get those likes up. I know it said I was muted. My chat over here for some reason is not working. Let me see if I can fix that. I don't know what it just did. It just did something crazy. All right, I could put that there. All right, good. I could chat with y'all straight up right there. That's good. Happy Saturday, Prez. What's good? All right, that's a better overall view. All right, cool. Now, we're in one more. I got one more topic that I'm going to grab, and then I'm going to grab the PlayStation topic. Yo, you know what's crazy? The worst thing in the world was a microphone and a camera. A microphone and a camera. Red Dead Redemption 2, not Mafia, Old Country. Nope. Sony sells. I love this right here. I love when they give fake information. I love fake information. Fake information is the best information, right? When they like to give you fake information, these dudes are through. Now listen, last night, if y'all didn't see Fight Night Fridays, y'all have to see this, right? Let me see. Y'all got to see this. I got something. Put ones in the chat if you can hear me. Let me see something, because I'm going to do something. I got something I want to do. If y'all didn't see Fight Night Fridays yesterday was kind of crazy. Oh, remember, go to Advanced GG at checkout. Use code IronLords to get 10% off of your next order. Right now I'm using hydration. It's Saturday. A little hot outside. It's 80 degrees. The kid needs to stay hydrated. See, yeah, okay, there we go. There we go. We can hear. All right, good. All right, so listen. For yesterday, for those dudes that didn't see what was going on yesterday, I got something I want to show you, right? I got something I want to show you. Now, dudes yesterday got me to play wrestling, WWE. I think that's 25 or 26. I think it's 25, right? So it's the latest one. And we were playing Marvel Rivals. Dip Down and them, Dip Down coming there. He be wanting to wrestle. Dip Down be wanting to wrestle. Right? So I said, all right, what you wrestling behind? You want to wrestle? All right. Now, we played Battlefield yesterday. Shout out to everybody that showed up. We played Battlefield. Now, what we want to do is when that joint goes live for real, we want to get a whole server and have 64 on 64. PlayStation versus Xbox. I don't care how we want to do it. Just community against community. That'd be dope. Get your favorite podcasters. We all get together. We all have a good go. Plus, also on Frontline Gaming Streams, I'm going to do a DayZ server where I'm going to have 60 of the members and 60 of the subscribers. We all just get together, members and subscribers or whatever. If you're a member or a subscriber over at Frontline Gaming Streams, it's not Xbox Frontline News, Frontline Gaming Streams. That's where I stream and play games. But let me show you what happened yesterday's. Oh, I'm going to tell you how the ponies are stunned, but I'm going to show you what happened yesterday, right? And it was funny. It was funny. Check it out. Get them out of here, son. Get them out of here, son. I'm going to get Dip Down ass next.
There's that nastiness of we can see in this match.
I'm not good off.
And meanwhile, Warrior.
Move. Oh, he dang the possum pin.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah! Yeah!
Guy, I just had to get I clicked.
I have eliminated. I got eliminated. Four. Man, I was talking my crap. I know I said yesterday I'm muted. I don't be wanting to, whatchamacallit. All right, so I'm going to get right back to it. Hold on one time. Fight Night Fridays is different. Undisputed heavyweight champion. I got the belt. Yeah, I know. I fixed it. Back on them, son. They tried to get me, but we set up Dip Down. I got Dip Down at the end. And I'm going to tell you, man. It ain't nothing sweeter than to shut Dip Down's mouth, son. Ain't nothing sweeter. So Fight Night Fridays, y'all know what it is. The belt is serious. The king is serious. Yeah, we do that wrestling thing. So if you like wrestling, come through. Bring your dudes. Tell me how they had a custom. Who was it? Glizzy Sign. Glizzy Sign had a custom Ravishing Rick Rude with a Glizzy King on his crotch, and on his back when he came out on the rope, it had me eating the Glizzy. Pause. I'm telling you, that's some dirty work. Now, don't worry. The Discord is going to be open for you guys to jump in. We play. Listen, when you're a member of Xbox Frontline News, you get a chance to dictate pace. You get a chance to tell me and the team what y'all want to play. Now, if it's more members inside the Discord, because we all jump inside the Discord, right? Everybody can come through. Everybody can play. You sub, you come through, we play. We play on Fridays. I play every day during the week. I stream on Frontline Gaming streams. But on Friday, we do Fight Night Fridays where we was playing Battlefield yesterday. Then we switched off to Marvel Rivals. And then after we went from Marvel Rivals, we went to the wrestling. And that's how we capped off the night. We usually play for 3-4 hours, having a good time. And that's what it's about, right? It's about wrestling. It's about shooting. It's about all of us coming together as gamers. And the industry knows this more than anybody else, because if you notice the industry at the moment now, the industry is being, how can I say it? I'm gonna close this one. I'm gonna use this one. The industry, how can I say it, is a little bit more inviting. Now, what, you know what? Who wants to see the intro before we kick it off? Who wants to see the intro? Who wants the intro before we kick it off? Let me put some ones in the chat if y'all want me to kick off the show with the intros, and then we can get to it. Or we can get right into stomping these ponies in the chest. Now, I know a lot of times dudes think that I'm supposed to curse. I'm supposed to take people's whatchamacallit and put it on the screen, like their Twitter handles, or I'm supposed to read. Now, I'm not doing none of that. So, all right, y'all want to hit the intro? Let me hit the intro for you real quick. Let's get to it.
So hold the line. We gon' shoot it out in seconds, leave you posted like a vine. Bow your head down to the king, leave your roses at the shrine. We stay ready for the war, just need the king to drop the sign. Say what you running from, what you running from. I'm with my team, we bleed green, that's what you wanted, huh? Say what you running from, what you running from. I'm with my team, we bleed green, that's what you wanted, huh? This what you wanted. This what you wanted, huh?
I always stay muting myself. You know what it is. We right back at it. Now, you know what's crazy? First of all, let me say something. I like Dreamcast Guy. We had him on Iron Lords podcast. I was watching him before when I liked his content early on, very early on. Like, you get a chance to check people content. And what I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. If anybody sees what's going on with Damon Dash right now with his mouth issue and his teeth and all that other stuff, and that's a hard thing. A lot of people are afraid of the dentist. A lot of people are afraid to do things that has anything to do with their mouth and stuff like that. First and foremost, as a human being, I respect that individual that did what he did, right? And I don't care. Medical bills cost a lot, so you crowdfunded or whatever, I send some bread too. Not like I got a bunch of money, but I send some bread to him too, because first of all, to humble yourself as a man to ask for that, that's one. Two, to not take off and continue to make videos knowing the circumstance, bro. I don't know what his situation is, but I have a different level of respect for him. And we can keep it video games all day. And I'm going to keep it video games all day. He's never singled out no person, not that I've ever seen, right? And been that he's just talked about a console, and that's cool. So, You know, when dudes was telling me, yo, he was talking about hashtag no PlayStation 6, I was like, yo, that's kind of crazy that these dudes are at a point of now acknowledging what I've been saying for a minute, acknowledging that PlayStation ain't who you thought they was, acknowledging that Xbox has always played the long game, pause, and got them to a different place. Now, I know somebody just put in the chat that it was going to, whatchamacallit, it was going to like a Shopify. Don't worry, I'm not in the Discord yet. Now, some people are able to jump inside the Discord. Maybe you got to become a member of the Discord or whatever, but don't worry. I want to talk about this real quick, right? Because I just want to shut a lot of you dudes up. When I told y'all before that Helldivers wasn't just Arrowhead. Helldiver wasn't Phil Dominus, Maximus Aurelius Spencer, Port Beggin. You know, Helldivers 2 coming to Xbox was more of Sony's publishing. It wasn't, y'all want to do mental gymnastics. And I'm not going to be the person that's not going to tell you to jump through those hoops. Do what you got to do, right? But be realistic with your thought process. Y'all championed Xbox going and putting their games multiplayer. But it's crazy, right? Because the Helldivers 2 CEO says you should thank Sony for the Xbox game port. Even though we're all in support, we get a lot of help from PlayStation with the bug fixing. Yo, that was all Sony. Sony wanted it. When I told you dudes very early on that Hiroki Totoki was the best. Oh, Legendary Yobi member for 11 months. Shout out to you, Soldier X Rank. I salute you, Soldier. Peace, love, life. Bow your head down to the king and leave your roses at the shrine. We stay ready for whatever. Just need the king to drop the sign. On God and them. On God and them. So, when I realized they did Sony's publishing, then they had that little coronation, if you will, of Herman Holtz being usurped and being sunned in that meeting. That little business fireside chat crap that they put together was more of a dehumanization of Herman because of the choices that he made. And as a man, he stood by his choices. God bless him, boy. Me personally, I'd have been like, get me out of here. I would have did like Jim. I would have gave you a cookie and beat it. And I would have sold my stocks in your face. Right? Like Reggie Fils-Aimé. I'm not doing none of that stuff that y'all talking about. I'm out of here. I'm taking my ball and I'm gone. I think Herm sees what he's trying to achieve. And you know, you got to look at these guys are wealthy at this time, right? He said, why did he tell me pause? I don't know. These guys are wealthy. So I'm not going to put that jacket on Herm that he needs the bread. But them sitting there telling you that they were doing things different. Let me tell you the mental gymnastics a lot of these guys are saying at this moment. A lot of gymnastics that they're using right now, they're trying to tell you that, oh, no, it's just for transmedia. It's not for just transmedia. It's not just for transmedia. Don't tell me them doing what they're doing. Like when they got with Katakawa and they got From Software. They didn't get From Software. They just put some money down. See, they got money down money, right? And a lot of that stuff was for IPs, their reach in the anime section. And I'm cool with that, right? They already have deals with Netflix. They already have deals with Amazon Prime. They already have deals with that. They are a movie studio. So Sony never needed other studios in order to get their movies done, their production done. They have these things. They don't need anything else. What's going on, Lycos, my guy? So that's not that. So I'm don't do those mental gymnastics saying that they needed to partner up with somebody else in order to make these games into movies and shows. You saw that with, what was it, that what level is that? Last level or something like that was on Prime, where a lot of the IPs were Sony IPs. Like the last episode of that on Amazon Prime had a lot of the Sony IPs. The one where it had this morphing thing, this little cherub thing that he had on his shoulder. That tells you that they can do one-offs. They can do that stuff. So Microsoft made a studio back in the days. Remember with Quantum Break? And they were doing the whole transmedia thing. And for Microsoft, it's a stretch. For Microsoft, it was, what's going on, people? It was share it out, put the likes up. Let me get more likes. Microsoft, it was a stretch. Sony is not a stretch at all. To make any IP that they have, they can make movies. You see them helping out with Zelda and stuff like that. So don't do the mental gymnastics and tell me it's for transmedia. When you saw the job listing, told you it was for gaming beyond the box. Gaming. You're not hiring somebody else about taking PlayStation's IPs and placing them on other devices other than the PlayStation. You see, that's where you get caught with the language in the job description. The job description tells you what they're trying to do. Xbox is not the movie theater. Secret levels. That's right. Thank you. Xbox is not the movie theater. So when they say Xbox specifically, Nintendo specifically, Steam specifically, Epic Store, GOG, these things are specific to your ass whooping. These things are specific. So you're not going to pay somebody $250,000 to make anime, to make decisions in placing your anime where you want to place them. You want them to look at your catalog of games, and don't tell me no BS like, oh, they're just talking about like old IPs like Jack and Dexter. Bro, the level of cope with you guys is strange, and I want you to stop. If Xbox came to the realization, us guys, us Xbox dudes, you know, the chain, you see it? If we came to the realization that Xbox don't give a damn, hold on, let me hike this chair up because I'm looking like a midget here. This don't look good. Yeah, look at that. That looked better. Somebody was sitting in my damn chair. Who was that? I don't know. I feel like what's that? Not Snow White. Well, was that Sleeping Girl? No, it was the one with the bears. Whatever. No, just live service. No, that live service. Why would you hire somebody for something that you're doing already? Right? You're not going to hire somebody for something that you're doing already. Baseball, you already got that coming over here. Marathon, you already got that coming over here. Destiny is already here. All those games, that pipeline is already established. You're looking at single player games on how to make that money. Right? So now you're looking at your IPs and you're trying to evaluate your IPs. But this is the other things that was kind of pissing me off. Like I saw it this week. Like we're going to go through the topics and then I'm going to open it up for people to talk. Right? Now, and I know this is a little bit off the topic, but I need to get this out of the way first because this thing actually blew my mind last night when I turned it on. I turned it on yesterday and I realized that Heretic and whatchamacallit and Hexen was up. Now remember a long time ago Phil had a shirt that said Hexen, and I think it was another time we caught him with a Heretic shirt. These games be in the mix, sitting in the background, waiting to be re-released. Or released or remastered or whatever. And these CEOs know who's working on them, know that they're showing up, just put out little cues just to get y'all talking. Phil has been a champion of hexing for a very long time. And the fact that it just was shadow dropped and just put there inside Game Pass lets me know that gamers win. Right? I know a lot of times we feel that we're losing when some games get canceled, and we're going to get into the game canceling thing. But at the end of the day, we are the winners when it comes to games actually being released in a service that we pay for. This month alone, Assassin's Creed Mirage is in there. Tons of games. Now, speaking of games being canceled, that's a lie. That's misleading. That game is on hold. Contraband is on hold. Now, I had somebody in my DMs, actually a couple of people inside my DMs talking about Contraband and what is the fate of it, because they're looking at Rare's Everwild and they're looking at Perfect Dark. You know, the initiative is Perfect Dark. And they're saying this was part of that crop of games that was talked about during that period of time. And that crop of games that was talked about during that period of time, either they went the way of the dinosaur, or they're just not being talked about. Contraband is one of those games that we knew it was a co-op smugglers game. That's the most that we knew about it. And you have people talking about, you see, Xbox is canceling games. When y'all ask for them to be proactive in getting to the games that aren't self-displaying well internally, aren't showing those metrics, then you guys are championing the downfall when Microsoft does step in. When PlayStation can come out and tell you that Marathon needs time, when Bungie themselves have been accused of plagiarism, has been accused of putting together shoddy work, toxic work environment. All these things are happening over at Bungie, and they haven't met their deliverables. And they put out a beta, and I think it was a closed alpha, and well, it was a closed beta or closed alpha, and the game just didn't chart right, where they had flown out a whole bunch of influencers, and the influencers told you that the game was good, but when they let the game get to the masses told you the game was trash. Marathon itself didn't have the legs to stand on. You see, what Microsoft understands is with Redfall, they learned a lesson. With Redfall, they understood a bad game, no matter how good it is, after you fix it, will never be great. In the eyes, in the perception of everybody that's there. It will never be great in the perception of the people that are there. So that is not good. Concord comes out, and Sony found out firsthand that they need to have checks and balances. Going back to that meeting, the fireside chat, the emasculation, if you will, of Herm. If you looked at it, they told you now we do checks and balances. Well, that's an indictment on the guy that's sitting in that room, because he was overseeing this. Herm was the one that was talking about Concord more than anybody. Shout out to Web Dave, $2 super chat, the legend King David. Hit that like and share for the King. Blessings. That's my guy. Got a chance to meet him in Cali. It's very rare that you meet people that you work with online, because I've been on his podcast, and he's always welcome to jump inside the Discord over here at any time, and I'm definitely going to jump on his show again. He had asked me to come on, and in the summertime, the weekends is very hard because it's family oriented. Like right now, I'm doing the show now. Then after this, I'm going to clean up as much as we can, and then we're going to get up out of here. Probably go see the Smurfs because I like the Smurfs, or go see something. I don't know, a Lilo and Stitch for the grandson. You know, that's what it is. He said, going back to call. Muted, I think. I don't know what that is. Anyway, so they put Herm there, and they're telling you checks and balances on Concord. Now, Marathon needed those same checks and balances. They took it back, and they worked on it. So when Microsoft comes out, or you get the word that Jason Schreier tells you that Contraband, a game you didn't see, a game you didn't get a chance to touch, a game you had nothing to do with, you know nothing about, is being evaluated and put on hold, immediately you indict Xbox. The indictment on Xbox is what? They're checking the investment that they put out? Or this is just, you got the money, you should just let the money burn. How did you feel when Concord came out and PlayStation, which never gives back refunds for anything, gave back money, shut it down? The game don't work. How did you feel? Was you okay with that? I'm not okay with that. I thought, listen, coming up to the game, I said, man, the game doesn't look too bad. They need to speed the game up. They need to make characters that people want to be, right? You need to make exotic looking men and exotic looking women in these games. You can have some pedestrian characters extra, but that's not going to fly, right? We play games to lose ourselves in fantasy. So Concord, if you was actually going to take the real from the people, it could have survived if they was willing to put the money in. You see what? But I'm gonna show you the Redfall effect. Xbox saw Redfall, put the money in, and no matter what, it didn't change the perception. PlayStation learns, we fixed this game. No matter what, this game is always going to be perceived as trash. And a live service game that doesn't come in hot is DOA. Now, I do have something that I wanted to talk about, because this thing here blew me away, because we got a chance to play. Oh, shout out to Jay Barry. I like your PC. He said, this is a PlayStation. I reposted that. I agree with you, brother. Your PlayStation, as you know it, is dead. And there's no need to cry. You know, all I'd do is tell you, just pull up a chair next to us. We love you. And yeah, it happened that quick. It happened that fast. It happened like I said it would. And hold on, let me see. I'm trying to get the weekend numbers so far, because the weekend is still going. And geez, man, I had it here. You know what? I think I'm just gonna have to put those numbers in. Here we go. Oh, that's Mikey Barra talking about that. Nope, not gonna use Mikey Barra on that, because, buddy, you are wicked with it. You are absolutely wicked with it. All right. There was at 478,000 concurrent on Steam. And I realized that Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 highest peak was 490K concurrent. That was their peak. This is a beta on Battlefield. I told you, this is the year that Battlefield does what it's supposed to do. And I'm telling you, it's going to be very bad for Call of Duty when I'm already getting it inside Game Pass. I'm not a Call of Duty head. I play the campaign, try to finish the campaign. If I do, I do. I don't. Battlefield yesterday that we was playing. If you go watch, I can't put the stream here because we're cursing every 5 seconds. It's scarily good, right? It's scarily good. It is. I literally think that this thing is going to turn into a phenomena, right? Vince, you got one, and you know you got one, and I just feel sorry for anybody that thinks they don't. Now, the PlayStation numbers. I know a lot of you dudes really think the PlayStation did those exact numbers. And we're going to dig into those numbers. Hold on. Battlefield 6 beta rewards. You see right now, Senor Saga, see, Xbox is smart. They put Hellblade this month and also Gears. They put both of them at the same time. Here we go. First earnings report, first quarter. I can translate it now. All right, supplemental. All right, so I have everything here. So now we're going to go to the misinformation that's being pushed around, right? This is the main misinformation. Now, shout out to The Verge. I'm pretty sure that y'all came back and y'all fixed this. It says Sony sells 80 million PlayStation 5. They did not sell 80 million PlayStation 5s. They shipped 80 million PlayStation 5s. The reason why you can tell that they didn't sell 80 million PlayStation 5s, their software sales in that quarter was 66 million software units on the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5 platform. If they have 80 million PlayStation 5s sold, then you're going to say the majority of this, because they have over 120 PlayStation 4s sold, right? So you're looking at a base of over 200 and some change, right? Million sold units, if it's sold. And you only sold 66 of that base. And out of that base, only 12 million was PlayStation 1 first party. This is how you know that number, it can't be factual, right? It cannot be factual. It's shipped numbers because it does say shipped. A lot of you get caught up in this whole PlayStation selling number, which that number isn't the same. It's cool. They outsold Xbox. Xbox sells what? 34, 35 million sold, not shipped. See, Microsoft doesn't get their money on the back end. People that want it, they got to buy it. This is the reason why they raise the price on the Xbox. You buy direct from distributor. Now, you buy directly from Microsoft. You want one, you buy it, they ship it out. They join is free shipping. So it's in the cost. PlayStation, let's say Walmart projects to sell throughout this year 5 million PlayStations. They ship them 6. And they'll sit there until they're sold, right? And on the back end, Sony gets their money. You want to know why Nintendo can raise the prices on the Switch? Why Xbox can raise the prices on the Xbox, Steam Deck, so on, but PlayStation didn't raise the price? Because those consoles are here. They're here already. They don't got to make it through the docks. They don't got to go through any tariffs. Those consoles are here. Xbox, got to bring them in. Got to make them. They're raising price. They don't give a damn. Nintendo doesn't care. You're going to pay it. Remember when Nintendo said they stocked up on a lot of systems and they're here and the tariffs won't affect them. Well, you know what their tariffs are affecting? They're affecting the Switch 1, the OG Switch. That's why they raised the price on the OG Switch, because those that are here, the Switch 2s, good, $500, $450. Sell those at that price, we make our money. I know we got to raise the price on the ones that we shipping in. PlayStation never had to ship anything in. Now, the countries that they don't have any stock over there, they raise the price a little bit in like certain countries. That's okay. But that number that you're seeing is not a true indication of a healthy company, because if it was, then why on this earth would you need to diversify your portfolio and put your games in other places? It damn sure doesn't make any sense for you to put it on an Xbox, right? If Xbox is in last place and they only sold 31 million, you got some people running out with 28, right? Why put it there? If you have 200 million PlayStation devices, that's not counting portals, right? And you know you can use a portal and you don't need a PlayStation 5 any longer. If you didn't know, you can have a portal without a PlayStation 5 and play your games. Okay? So understand that. Counting these devices, there's absolutely no need to put it on an Xbox. There's no need to put it on a Switch. So obviously your numbers is fugazi. Obviously the numbers that you're reporting is ship numbers, and that's cool. You shipped them, give me my money on the back end. It's called consignment. If you know anything, you know something. It's on consignment. You got dudes I'm pushing keys. I'm doing this, that, and the third. You ain't going to nobody with no $3 million. I got 200 birds flying in. You heard me? Yeah, all right. You're a back-end dude. Sony's a back-end dude. If the money don't go right, stuff don't go right, those things come back. There's a reason why they still be selling consoles well into the next generation. It's a reason why they're not looking for next generation as fast as you think. It's a reason why the CFO can come out and tell you we're moving away from a console-centric model. I told you that. Hashtag no PlayStation 6. We're going to run it up on these bums. I'm going to keep the boot on Kong's neck this whole generation. Ain't that right, Diddy? Tell the truth, shame the devil. But you guys sat there and told me that I was wrong when I told you the whole slate was coming. They're figuring out how to get these games there. Marathon, win, lose, or draw, is shipping the same exact day that it ships on PlayStation. Destiny, y'all paid $3 billion to absorb a company just to make them a backup company. It's a shell of itself. Shout out to AKW, the 10-pound super chat. What up, King? Xbox is changing the game. Xbox is ahead of the PlayStation. Xbox is playing the long game. Xbox is in last place, but behind PlayStation revenue. That's crazy. But before I go, shake that tail, Cog. Let me tell you, anybody with a brain looks at the financials and see. What up, Hope? I showed the wrestling early on. Anybody with a brain can see in the beginning and the end what's going to transpire. Xbox is going to set the pace and PlayStation is going to catch up in the race. It has always been that way. Don't fool yourself into thinking otherwise. Now, PlayStation did do innovative things very early on, and that's in my era. In my era, they are not the same. They dropped the amount of exclusives that are coming out, and they don't believe in exclusives no more. Like, to y'all, and it has to happen. You're the dude that will get all the indications that your wife is cheating, but Don't believe it until you see it. I gotta see it first. Now let me let you know, the Discord is open. I'm in the Discord. Jump inside the Discord. Link is in the description. If y'all want to talk about this, because a lot of you Xbox dudes has been taking the heat for Xbox going third party for a long time. Y'all been taking the heat when the CEO of Arrowhead came out and told you it was PlayStation that did it. It wasn't just us. PlayStation wanted it over there. They needed money. Nixus is the reason why PlayStation is in the predicament that they're in. Now, I knew Nixus was definitely the best thing to happen to Sony. I've always championed Nixus. That's my heart. And I knew Nixus would be the downfall of all your rhetoric. I knew the moment that they acquired them, because I looked at what they were good at and what they did best. And that was bring games to the PC. Xbox, playing the long game, decided to make the Xbox a hybrid PC. Bill Gates' original vision. If anybody's telling you that Xbox is losing their identity, it's because they don't know who Xbox is. Xbox is a software company that does hardware. They do really nice hardware. Have you seen the Xbox Series X and S? Hardware is really good. Now, do they do efficient middleware? Not really. I think a lot of their stuff is futuristic when it comes to the middleware, because if it's not adapted by most, like Velocity architecture, which is at the center of the next Xbox hardware, then you don't see those improvements. When developers aren't using the 10% what you got inside the box above the base PlayStation 5 in this Xbox Series X, then you won't see those improvements. So again, this is the reason why the next generation Xbox and the next generation PlayStation are dramatically different, completely different. The next generation Xbox is not going to be cheap. It's not going to. Xbox is taking the premium route. If you know about luxury cars, you know the difference between a Mercedes-Benz, a BMW, Audi, and a Ford and a Chevy. Not saying that a Ford and a Chevy isn't good. Not saying that a Ford and a Chevy, listen, Chevy does Corvettes, right? A Z1 Corvette, top of the line. That's a PlayStation 5 Pro, right? George Parcell, member for 19 months. Soldier X rank. I salute you, Soldier. Can't wait to play Spider-Man 2018 again on Xbox. This time, great game. Facts. Me personally, there's a couple of games that I want, that I have already. You know what game I want? And I know you're going to say, King, why would you want that? That's trash. Days Gone. I thought Ben Studios did a hell of a game. I thought Ben Studios put together a nice game that needed refinement. Maybe came out a little bit too early. Maybe their expectations on that title, they wanted more of The Last of Us. I think it suffered from The Last of Us effect. I think The Last of Us kind of put it in this way. If it didn't play like The Last of Us, if it wasn't The Last of Us, the PlayStation fan base really didn't care for it. And went to PC, they put it at a time where more games were showing up on the PC, and that got overshined there. So, again, single-player story-driven narrative game placed on the Xbox where some DLC, you can monetize some skins and some stuff like that. That's what that guy is being hired for. To look at IPs that, not IPs that just underperformed, but IPs that performed, that will do well in other ecosystems. So very soon you're going to start getting little emails talking about what games would you like coming to the PlayStation? What games would you like coming to the Xbox? What games would you like coming to Nintendo? You will get these things. I get these little surveys all the time. And just like Lyco says, the whole slate is coming. What's going to be the one that's going to punch through? You see how when Xbox send over their started off their whole slate was those 4 games? Hi-Fi Rush, Bible the Game, Sea of Thieves, and Grounded. And Grounded is huge. Pause. Whether you like it or not, Grounded is a damn good game. Sea of Thieves, a phenomenal game. People was talking about Hi-Fi Rush like Hi-Fi Rush was the second coming, not knowing that it didn't sell. You see how good Astrobot is? Astrobot is a phenomenal platformer, but it didn't sell. No matter how many units that you put inside console boxes that you send out there and you counting those as sales, no matter how many of those, no matter how many greased up palms had to go down allegedly for it to get Game of the Year, because it wasn't Game of the Year, but it was a damn good game. I really liked the game. It didn't sell. So those games are niche. Niche to say that Hi-Fi Rush, Astrobot. Do you see the correlation here? Now, I know you're going to say, King, they wouldn't send Astrobot over for the simple fact that you need a DualSense. Next generation Xbox that comes out next year is going to have a DualSense-like controller. The controller will have the DualSense type of vibration. It will have a lot of those bells and whistles that are inside the controller. So that language that you're using to cope with what you don't want to happen, but inevitably will happen, doesn't hold weight. The fact that you want to base all your gatekeeping behind the controller functionality, you can't use that same logic when those games are released on PC and that controller functionality is not there. When games that are on Xbox and you don't have the benefit of quick resume, that doesn't take away from the game. Just deliver the game. Remember the fast SSD? And you said that they weren't able to do Ratchet and Clank? Well, the PC showed you that that's not true. So all those things that you're using to gatekeep games and to think that games won't go someplace else based on functionality in devices, that doesn't hold weight. Those games will get to every device and it will have differences. And if you're a fan on that platform, that you have it and it happens to do certain things on that platform, then you're lucky. But there are a lot of games that don't have that quick resume feature that's on the PlayStation that used to be on Xbox. Indiana Jones. And I know you're going to say fundamentally that doesn't change the core mechanics or whatever the game is. I hear everything that you're whining about, but all that stuff will be mitigated when the protocols on the Xbox controller and the PlayStation controller, when the Xbox, next generation Xbox itself can actually use a DualSense. Hybrid, Xbox, PC. Know that they were taking it out of Sony's hands regardless. When Steam is on board, Epic is on board, GOG is on board, these storefronts are on board. That takes the whole thing out of Sony's hands. They don't get a chance to dictate where their games go any longer, unless you're going to make them. They kind of force their hand into getting a fake CEO together to middle management. Now, Bungie being dissolved, Marathon being kind of put on hold, is that a good thing for them or a bad thing for them? Them expanding their games to go to other ecosystems. In a few short days, I will be playing Helldivers 2 on a community stream with all of you guys online, playing it through my Xbox. Now, all of you know I do have a PlayStation 5. I do have a PlayStation 5 Pro. I have a Switch 2. You do have a Switch. That doesn't take away from where I want to play. if the corporations understand that we're not going to get people to spend outside of where they want to be, then we need to go to them. Does that make Phil Dominus Maximus a really expensive first of his name right? Does that make him right? Where they knew that y'all were never going to leave. When they're dominating your ecosystem, dominating your marketplace, putting games that make a difference in the wallets of CEOs and shareholders, does that make everything and decisions that he made right? The brand was never in danger if you knew exactly what was the DNA and who the brand was at its core. At its core, Xbox was always a hybrid PC. The first Xbox was just PC parts put together with an operating system. Hard drive off the shelf, CPU off the shelf, GPU, all of that stuff off the shelf. And then further along the line, they tried to do the same thing that Sony was doing and not doing it as well. Yes, the 360 was really good. Yes, the Xbox One X was fantastic. And the Series X and S are really good machines. But Sony kind of had that zeitgeist. Xbox had to lean into their money. When you saw Magnus and these guys was trying to tell you that PlayStation 6, hashtag no PlayStation 6, was Magnus, and I told you it wasn't, then they had to do a retraction to let you know that's an Xbox. When is it going to be the part where you say, you know what, he is 98% right? I mean, I joke around a lot. I snap a lot. I console war for fun, to snap on people, to have fun. It's really the smooth brain individuals that's online that actually believe that crap that they be saying. Like 80 million sold, like it did anything for you. It didn't do anything for you. Actually, go get some Sony stock. It's really cheap, $24. Go buy a couple of them. And that way you can run around and talk about this 28 million or whatever the hell million sold. Then it'll make sense to you. I want to know what games you want. As a gamer, you know what's crazy? Microsoft making all this revenue off of Xbox. You notice that they said Game Pass did $5 billion in a quarter for the first time. With better games coming later. Do you know what the next quarter is going to look like? Software and services. Do you know what that's going to look like? When the Xbox ROG Ally X launches and that device is successful, just like the VR, because that VR is wildly successful. Will they be right then with OEM? Would Sony decide, since they're moving away from the console-centric business and diversifying their portfolio with focusing on transmedia as well as software beyond the PlayStation, will they look at OEM machines? With the next iteration of the PlayStation slated to show up late 2028, early 2029. That handheld is 2027. Wouldn't it be too late by then? Wouldn't Xbox, because they already have their studios. Xbox is already dominating them with the studios that they have. Wouldn't it be too late by then? Wouldn't it be smarter to do an OEM box? Wouldn't it be smarter, research and development wise, just to make the SoC, license that out to, I don't know, Asus, HP, different manufacturers, MSI. Get those system on chips to them, put out software, and just ship across the world. If Xbox does it, and we know that they follow everything that Xbox does, Raz Shadow, jump in the Discord. You leave me messages all the time. Jump in the Discord. I told you, hashtag no PlayStation 6. Whatever devices they come out with, and if it doesn't have the PlayStation 6 name on it, you lost immediately. I told you that the handheld is coming out. I told you why I think that it won't be a PlayStation 6. I told you that I believe that handheld is going to be wildly successful. It's going to be more successful than that Portal. And with that Portal, you don't need a PlayStation 5. But the fact that they do have a PlayStation 5 out right now leads you to believe that, man, if we could do this over again. You know how many of these devices that they can actually really sell? $200 devices? I know, Lycos, I know who that is. I know that is Linda. And it is what it is. Well, I left it open. I'm the best doing it. I talk about the things that dudes don't want to talk about. There's a lot of Xbox dudes that will not talk about Sony selling X amount of units. There's a lot of Xbox dudes that won't tell you about bad Xbox news, like hardware being down 22% over the last quarter. That doesn't, you got to look at it. They're looking at it from quarter to quarter. So let's say they sold 1 million in one quarter and they're down 22% from that million, whatever. They can sell, let's say that they sell, and if you looked at PlayStation's quarter to quarter, and you know what? Let me give you the math, right? They told you, and this is how stuff don't make no sense, right? They told you they sold 2.5 million consoles in a quarter. 4 quarters, right? 4 quarters per financial year times 5. That's been out for 5 years. That's 50 million units sold. Not shipped. Shipped, they shipped 80. Sold to consumers, 50. Know your numbers. Don't be fooled. If you read the financials, and this is what they look like for individuals that don't actually do the reading. This is what you have to comb through. This is what you have to go through. This is the supplementals. This is what's happening in the US, the ER, Brazil. These are all the financials. There's 24 different sheets that you have to go through, and you have to break it down from yen, and you find out all the sales. So if you think that I'm not sitting there doing the breakdowns and looking at what is pertinent to the conversation, then you're wrong. I don't look at somebody else's information to give me the information that is necessary. Now, I may use an article from somebody to drive home the point, or also use the article to show that they have a contrasting view of what I see. So that way you don't get a skewed view and just only take my words for it. I will read somebody else's article, give you credit. I show it before I show video and gameplay. We have to start thinking better. We have to start being more efficient in our thoughts and our words. The fact of the matter is, Sony would not be in this position if they was absolutely doing the things that you think that they've been doing. They're not winning to the extent that they think they are. They haven't put out a game of a AAA caliber this year. Only game that is coming out this year is Ghost of Yode. And that's at the end of the year. And that game, if it does not sell, be very careful for what Microsoft puts around that October 2nd date. What they put in front of it and what they put behind it, because they will take over that month of October, not letting Sony's own IP live. If they do that, they stifle that game. And now I know you're going to say, King, why would they do that if they want PlayStation to be successful? No, they don't care if PlayStation is successful. That's not their competition. What they do want is PlayStation to actually sell through that 80 million. Sell through. And you have 124 PlayStation 4s. You sold all of that. Great. We want to put games on those devices. We want to reach those people that you reached already in order to have that pipeline and make that money. And we know that we're going to put out the next generation Xbox and we're going to put out games on Nintendo. You notice they haven't said anything about Nintendo games yet on that Switch 2. That's coming. So it's just the same way that they're marketing games and making games to live on other ecosystems. They're going to make money there. They're being wildly successful within their own ecosystem with Game Pass, which is turning profit. Now, they're being wildly successful with software selling on the PlayStation and on the PC. Next, Nintendo. Sony cannot idly sit by and watch this happen. They have IPs that Nixes can put onto the Xbox ecosystem very easily. All they have to do is put out the Windows versions of those games. Those are the games that they put out on Steam, regardless to what. Place those games onto the Xbox ecosystem with very few tweaking. I'm not a developer, but I know it's inside Nix's wheelhouse. Have Ben Studios help out and have the remnants of whatchamacallit help out too. Bungie. Well, this is Xbox Frontline News with your boy, the King. I leave that Discord open for you guys to jump in. And if any of you PlayStation dudes feel in your soul, you want to jump in, or if any of you Xbox dudes want to jump in and beat your chest because you found out the Emperor has no clothes. I told you a long time ago, Diddy's home. He never had clothes. Pause. I told you he ain't who you think he is, but he is who I know he is. They are who we thought they were. They never fooled me. So that's why I can accurately predict the stuff that I do. That's why I can accurately tell you things. That's why you got these goofy dudes that's going to clip and put it out and say all types of stupid things. But me, when they go low, I go high. Why? Because the higher I am, the more my nuts is on your head. Pause. So, thank you for showing up. I want y'all to go where win is win and play is play. Like I'm going to do today. And that plays on Game Pass. So, I'm going to tell y'all like I always do. Try to play the Game Pass. And listen, if you catch any of these PlayStation dudes saying hashtag no PlayStation 6 in some weird form or fashion, that's a wild victory. Because when it was time to hold the line, like I came out and told you guys all to hold the line, and y'all did. And y'all are reaping the fruits. You saw a lot of dudes jump ship and run to the other side. You saw a lot of dudes disrespect and call for people to be fired. I want you to call for Hiroki Totoki to be fired. I want you to call for that new CEO to be fired. I want you to call for Herman Hulst and them to be fired. Because PlayStation is doing the exact same playbook that Xbox is doing. Why aren't you holding the line? Why are you saying this is your last PlayStation console? Why are y'all guys deleting your channels? Why are you guys actually ishing on your fan base? Why are you talking down to your fan base? Why are you calling them stupid? Why can't y'all get it together? Because y'all are not real. Perceived strength is not real strength. It's just a perception. Until real strength walks in the room. And that's why I was easily able to see straight through you. When everything is going your way, it's good. When it's not going your way, we see you panic. We see you jump ship. We see you turn tail. We see you switch sides. We see you act different. I do not make a PlayStation channel. It's called Xbox Frontline News. And it's going to stay that way. Because Xbox will be here when y'all dead and gone. Because they already paved the way. George Parcells with the £2 super chat. Hey, Herm. When I told you Pete Hines had to go, what happened to Pete Hines? Did I know something? I'm not going to say what I'm going to say because you're going to coincide that with something else, but I'll do that on a video later. But because that has nothing to do with anything else. But understand, Xbox has always been number one. You guys just never understood the plans and necessary things that had to be done. And when Phil could come out and tell you that these dudes do slimy things and he was getting that slime out of there, I want to know how many of y'all going to be playing Back Myth Wukong in a couple of days. I know I am. And I can do it now. But I'd rather do it on my Xbox. Because that's where I want to play. Like Final Fantasy 16. So, everybody have a great day. I'm going to go upstairs. I got to fix some wrongs. Because the king was a bad boy today. A little hot under the collar. A little standoffish. A little argumentative, if you will. So, the boy got to go make amends and fix some stuff up. But, my Xbox dudes told you, holding the line, got us where it's at. Just tell those PlayStation dudes, it's time for them to start holding the line and holding PlayStation accountable. That's a good start. Now I want y'all to start calling for firings, right? Because y'all tell us to do it. Sarah's doing a wonderful job. I love exactly what Matt Booty's doing. And Phil is killing it. Like Sean Layden is gone, and so is Reggie Fils-Aimé. Phil is the last CEO standing. Only person left is Herman Holtz. Hey, Herm. Duck. You might be next.